because we all know there's Laylatul Qadr in this last 10 days, but we don't know which days it lies. So for that reason, we're all required to do as much deeds as we can for the whole 10 days. So I tried to summarize 10 points that we can make use of, or we can make maximum use of these last 10 days, so that we don't miss, the Laylatul Qadr. So I'm gonna just go through these 10 points that I collected from different scholars, and inshallah we'll apply in our last 10 days, and hopefully we'll get the Laylatul Qadr. So the first point is that we need to avoid the sins during the day. What does this mean is that we're all required, whether it's Ramadan or not Ramadan, that we avoid any sins during the day, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us, ibadat, and making obligatory prayers during the night. So this is just makes sense for us, and specifically in the last 10 days of Ramadan, that we have to try to minimize that, like the sins that we do during the day, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us to make more ibadah during the night. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith that whoever minimize, or if you minimize the ma'siyah that you make during the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will wake you up at night for prayers and make it easy for you to do the ibadah at night. So this is the first point, that we all have to make use of it. The second point is that we need to avoid a lot of conversations at night. So we know that if you increase, socialization and talking at night and having social gatherings, what will happen from there is that you may make some kind of a sin from there. You might backbite a brother, you might backbite a sister, you might talk about other, things that are not that you are not supposed to say. So we have to minimize talking a lot and having social gatherings at night. It's very common in Ramadan that Muslims come together, especially Muslim countries and here too, and we talk about many things and many topics at night, when we're supposed to minimize those things and just do more of the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and talk about what Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. So this is a very important topic that we all have to think about it. The third point is that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we all know that Aisha asked, what should I say if I can or meet the Laylatul Qadr? Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, what? Say, Allahumma innaka afoon tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. So we know this famous dua, oh Allah, who is the most forgiving, and you love forgiving, please forgive us. So we all know this famous dua. So these last 10 days, we have to try to make as many times as we can this dua, so that we get the virtue of it. We never know when is the Laylatul Qadr. We never know when is the moment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept us our dua. So we have to try as many times as we can, because Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us this is what we have to read if we meet the Laylatul Qadr. The fourth point is that we have to try to pray with the Imam, and pray, if we start praying with the Imam, finish with it. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us whoever starts praying with the Imam and finish with it is as if he prayed the whole night. So we have to make use of all this as well. So we're trying to collect as many good deeds as we can in these last 10 days, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts our deeds, and we get inshallah the ajr of Laylatul Qadr. So this point talks about if we come for Isha and we start with the Imam, we have to try to finish with the Imam with all the Taraweeh, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the double virtue of the whole night, as Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us. So this is the fourth point. The fifth point is that we need to read the Quran, increase our recitation of the Quran in these last 10 days of Ramadan. As the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, it was the tradition of the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Salaf, that they used to read Quran more than other months in Ramadan. So they used to read more Quran in Ramadan than other months. And in the last 10 days, they used to read more than the other 20 days or the other 29. So we have to increase the number of Quran, or the number of surah, or the number of juz that we're reading in this month during the last 10 nights of Ramadan. And if you had a goal of finishing the Quran like once during Ramadan, it's okay to go over your goal and read more than the the 1 juz a day that you are reading. And do not decrease what you are doing during the day, just increase more during the night so that inshallah that you increase your deeds during the night. The sixth point is that we have to try to make as Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, من قام ليلة القدر إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whoever stands up the Laylatul Qadr in belief and asking or expecting the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives his sins. And we know that the best part of a prayer is what? The sujood. So we have to try to increase our prostration, the duration of our prostration, so that we read more dua. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for more things, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts us. So an increase in our prostrations in these last 10 days is also in a way that we can increase our deeds in these last 10 days. The next point is that giving charity. We know Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was what? Kana ajwadu. He was the most generous of the people, and he was the most generous in Ramadan. And that will be even more virtuous if we give more sadaqah during the last day of Ramadan, the last days and nights of Ramadan. So it's all encouraged that we have to give as much sadaqah as we can give these last 10 days and 10 nights of Ramadan, so that we also get more virtues. The next point is that we have to keep seeking forgiveness and making istighfar all the time, even in our emotion. What does that mean is that we shouldn't limit our prayers in a specific time of the day or the night. Even if we are driving, if we are doing some other things, we have to continue making the dhikr and making istighfar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we never know which moment Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept from us the dua. The next and the last point is that in our night, every night, we have to try to conclude with making istighfar. A lot of us, we make this mistake that just before, while we're making suhoor or just before suhoor, we're actually having a lot of conversations, having talking to each other. But this is actually the best time, just before adhan, the time of the suhoor, will be asharihum yastaghfirun. The ashar, which is the last part or the last duration or period of the night, is the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, praise the people who make istighfar this time. So we have to always try to, these last 10 days or this last 10 nights, the last moment of every night, which is just before the adhan, we have to try to make use of it and make istighfar and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgiveness for our service and for the rest of the ummah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us and make us around. اللهم بلغنا ليلة القدر اللهم بلغنا ليلة القدر اللهم بلغنا ليلة القدر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Jazakallah khairan, Dr. Abdul Rahman. This is actually very important tips for us during the last 9 nights, 9 days. Or it could be 8, Allahu Alam. Jazakallah khairan, Dr. Barakallah. Also, the point that Brother Abdul Rahman mentioned, which is completing your prayer with the Imam. Because many people, because they want to pray during the night, so they are leaving the prayer and do not complete it with the Imam. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, من أقام مع إمامه حتى ينصرف كتب له أجر قيام ليلة. يعني whoever completes the prayer with the Imam, it will be recorded for him as the reward of staying the whole night praying. So my advice to our brothers is that, of course, we are finishing with the witr. Okay, so you have two options. You have two options. The first option is that you are doing the witr with the Imam, and then you pray as much as you can during the night, and you do not need to make witr again, because the Prophet ﷺ said there is no two witr in only one night. Okay. The second option is that when the Imam finishes the rak'ah of al-witr, you can stand up and add another rak'ah, so it will be counted for you as 2 rak'ah. So you continue qiyam, and then after praying during the night, you can make the only rak'ah for witr. So these are the two options. Either you finish with the Imam and then you pray without repeating witr again, it's okay, or you add more rak'ah to the rak'ah for witr and you make it like even in number, and then you continue during the night and then you pray witr before Fajr or as you like. But do not leave the prayer before the Imam ending in order to get the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for praying the whole night. For our inshallah, yani for our tahajjud prayer inshallah tonight, we're gonna start 3 a.m. inshallah. 3 a.m. and then we have the suhoor after, and then the Fajr prayer will be around 5:30 inshallah Rabbil Alameen. Regarding our quiz, so we were asking yesterday about a surah that if you memorize the first 10 ayat of the surah, you will be protected from the trial of a Dajjal in the hereafter. So what is this surah? Naam, Al-Kahf, Jazakumullahu khairan. So this is advice to the brothers inshallah and sisters to try to memorize these 10 verses from the beginning of Surah Al-Kahf, as they are very protective, as the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith. And the thanks to the brothers and sisters who sent the right answers. They were many actually, Jazakumullahu khairan, all of you. But we are picking only one winner for tonight. So the winner is Sister Roxana. She's here? Okay, Jazakallahu khairan, Sister. Barakallahu feek. So I have your prize here. Okay, brother. Someone pick it? Yes, come on. Jazakallahu khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. Just keep going. Keep answering, inshallah. For our quiz tonight, we are asking about the dua or the supplication that Prophet Yunus alayhi salam, or Jonah in English, made when he was in the darknesses, when he was in the darkness of the sea, the darkness of the night, and the darkness of the belly of the whale. So he made dua, special dua, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved him. So what is this dua? Which surah? Which ayah? Right, we have تعليق. جزاك الله خير brothers. شكرا. So which ayah? ما شاء الله. Where? How did you get it? So quickly. Right, inshallah, we are receiving the answers by email. We are receiving the answers by email, inshallah. So email me the right answer. جزاكم الله خيرا وقوموا إلى صلاتكم بارك الله فيكم جميعا. Yeah, you have to follow the rules. جزاكم الله خيرا. Did we recite it tonight?